3.
Welcome to Mobilefitlab After Hours. I'm Bella.
And I'm Joey Donaldo, and we have been gone for a while, but we're back, and we have a dude who lifts joining us to do a little podcast about his prep.
Yes, sir. What's up?
A dude who lifts.
A dude who lifts, Max Williams.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with like a little introduction. Just tell us who you are, what you do, how your age, some of your hobbies, things like that. Just really general, you know, like if you're on a first date,
Right.
and then we'll get going.
Okay, so I can't say anything about a first date because it's been a while. Name's Max Williams. I'm 19. I live in PA right now, right outside Westchester, so like 3 hours from where Joey and Bella live. I'm a bodybuilder and powerlifter, so I like do both. I'm still picking which one I want to pursue. I'm currently on a prep for a bodybuilding show, but I did a powerlifting meet this past couple months, so I was like, why not do a bodybuilding show? So that's where I'm at now, and I'm 18 days out, and prep is honestly, I undermined how hard it would be. I thought it wouldn't be that bad, but it's pretty bad. So
yeah, we were just talking about like he was like, this might be the last time I do this, the first and the last time that I do this, thinking like powerlifting is a little bit more enjoyable.
Oh yeah,
so far
just show up to a powerlifting meet, like, you know, candy, bunch of carbs, whatever. You don't have to be like a certain. All you got to do is worry about weight.
There's a lot more freedom with it, yeah. I mean, because you just, as long as you're below like the weight that you signed up for, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the people I was competing with, I'm a 75 kg class, so they're 165, and I was like, they were like not eating so they could weigh in. I was like, bro, I had 2 bagels, I had pasta, I had all this stuff before my meet.
So you were under the weight.
Yeah, I was
That's what I
2
did
pounds
too.
under.
Which is better.
No, it's not better because in powerlifting, if you weigh 200 while you're training, but you compete at 185, these are in pounds. They're not in pounds, but I'm saying it in pounds.
Yeah.
Then you build that strength all that strength as a 200 pounder, and that muscle density and like, you know what I mean, all that power.
But then you lose it at 185.
But then you lose it, but it's like a balance. You want to lose the weight, you want to lose water weight and like extra weight, and try not to lose the muscle. So it's in a way, it's kind of like bodybuilding, but you could also do it the way like me and Max have done it, where we're too light and we eat as much as possible while we're training to build strength as we're training.
So when I remember you did a weigh-in. Mm-hmm. So when you are too light and you go in, is it like you have to meet that weigh-in too?
Nope. You can, if you're too light, you're like, there's an awkward middle sometimes because there's obviously a few pounds, a few kilos in between weight classes. So if you're at the bottom of one weight class, but you can't quite lose 1 pound to get to you want to be in the lowest weight class possible, because if you have the strength of the top weight class, but the size of the smaller weight class, then you're going to do really well in that weight class. Yeah. Because if you're super strong as a, 83 kg, then that's better than being, like that same strength level at 90 kgs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it.
That's why I was trying to fill out my 165. And like, I'm 157 right now. Or wait, maybe it was
157. 157.
Yeah, so I'm 157
Oh,
now.
Max just did his in-body, so give us your stats.
Oh, yeah, I just did okay, so I've had like my body fat percentage tested. Like, I don't know if you know the things where you like hold it right out. They have those like weird like things at LA Fitness.
I've never seen that.
And this was probably a month and a half ago, and the lady was like, she gave it to me, and I was like 9.2, and I was like, all right, that's actually probably accurate because I had been cutting a little bit. And for me to cut, all I have to really do is just get rid of some carbs. I don't have to increase cardio. I don't have to do anything like that. I just literally have to be like, okay, I'm not going to eat a bagel for breakfast, and I'm just going to have a little bit leaner carbs, and I'll naturally lean out. And that's pretty much how it goes.
So that's just the way you decide to cut calories. I mean, you don't have to do I don't think necessarily like taking out just the macro of carbs does it, but
no. Just like literally.
No, I think it's just he usually eats such high carbs that's just like an easy way for him to cut.
Yeah. So that's like, I don't have to adjust cardio or train anything differently. It's like if I was having 2 bagels for breakfast with peanut butter, which is, let's say, 1,000 calories for breakfast and 200 grams of carbs. At least. If I just go from that to oatmeal and blueberries, then I'm already leaning out over time. And it's like the volume's still good, though.
In a comfortable way.
Yeah. So that's how I was leaning out. But she said like 9.2% there, when I did that, and I was like, that's probably accurate because I knew I was around 10 or sub 10. But then I got my test. I did the InBody today, and it said 3.2, and I was like, there's no way. I was actually watching it load, and it was like 0.5,
Isn't
0.6.
that intense when you're watching? You're like,
that's a scary feeling.
I was like, all right, I might just look away, and I'll look at it, and then it'll be like 5%, 6%. And then I look down, it's like 3.2, and it's like done, and it's printing the sheet, and it says 3.2%. I'm like, all right, this is just
the thing is,
wrong.
It's based on how much water you've had in the past few days, the type of food you've had in the past few days, type of sleep.
Yeah, it's not the
exercise.
It's more the way it's most helpful is to do it consistently because then you can kind of see variations and like progression versus like getting it one time and being like, yes, all or nothing. This is my body fat percentage. Like, okay, it said 3, but you could be 5. Like,
But if it says 5 and then you go back a month later and it says 4, you did lose 1%.
Yeah,
so it's but you're not necessarily 4 now, but you did lose 1%. So.
I probably should have done 3 tests today and then like took the average.
I think it would have said the same every time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more like...
It's accurate based on like that, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's the same thing, like, let's say you have a cheap scale from Walmart.
Right.
And it's not the best, right?
Yeah.
But you use that for every single check-in.
Right.
It's still reliable for you because you're using the same thing.
Right.
It might not be like 1000% accurant, but it's reliable.
Right.
In bodybuilding, the weight or the body fat percentage, it doesn't even matter. You can do whatever weight.
Yeah.
As long as it looks good.
Yeah. So
if you're tracking your progress, then
for like my show, I don't even know like a height cap or a weight. I don't even really understand how that works. Like when I got into powerlifting, I didn't know how like the kgs worked. I didn't know if you had like certain requirements, but it was basically just weight is all that matters in powerlifting. And then here, I don't know if weight and like height matter, but I know before I was deciding whether I was going to do men's physique or classic, I had a friend who was doing a show, and he was like 190 at the same point that I was. Like we're doing the same show, and this is unnatural or a untested show. Even though I am sorry, this is an untested show. Even
NPC.
though I am natural, but I just thought, why not go for it? Like you got nothing to lose. Like I'm doing a show, doing a powerlifting meet this year. Maybe I'll just mess around and do like some crazy stuff later, but. Apparently like height and weight, there's different things that play out. So ideally I wanted to be like holding on to as much muscle mass and stuff, but that's why I think men's physique is better for me because I don't really have the legs and like the overall frame, but
especially in untested.
Yeah.
Like
if you went in the classic, I mean, even men's physique is going to be rough to compete in.
Yeah.
Untested.
I think I'll look pretty good on stage because of like,
I think you'll look
when
good.
in Houston, like there were some guys who I was talking to who were like big dudes and they also compete like all the time. And that's what they do in men's physique, like NPC shows and do stuff like that. And they were like, yo, you're like 4 weeks out. Because so many people at Summer Shredding were asking me like, yo, aren't you competing in like 2 days? Like you're like, how's your show? And I was like, bro, I compete in 4 weeks. Like, why is everybody asking me if I compete in a couple
they
days?
You were there for the...
Yeah, no. But low key, that would have been cool if I did just...
Yeah, that would have been a cool show to do.
Probably could have because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like
I don't know. I don't think it's that expensive.
Bro, they got paid. I think the winner got like 25 grand too.
Yeah. The
I don't know who won though.
Yeah, it was... Like, I know who won.
Like overall, imagine, bro.
Why are you pinching your neck like that?
I don't know. It feels good on my throat.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the difference. And so do you have a coach when you do powerlifting meets or do you just like raw dog it by yourself?
So I was doing like most of my stuff, and then I did help, like CT helped me.
Okay.
Just for the short term like prep, which is like for my show and my meet, I've only prepped like 6-7 weeks. Like,
okay.
It's very short.
So let's talk about the difference between you and your coach prepping for powerlifting and bodybuilding. Like, what is the difference in goal setting and like check-ins with the coach? How does that work? How do you what differences did you find there?
So powerlifting, it's pretty much like everything's completely different. Like the training style's way different. Obviously, one's strength, one's aesthetics.
And that's the other thing. Like your powerlifting coach probably helped you training, right?
Yeah.
But bodybuilding wise,
it's just diet.
Just diet.
Because I know how to train for bodybuilding, but it was like powerlifting is more like minuscule details as far as like, hey, like this is what you're going to hit on an RPE, like whatever, squat, bench, deadlift and stuff. Yeah. Plus I was squatting 3 days a week, deadlifting once or twice, and benching 4 times a week. So it's like I'm hitting that high stimulus all the time of like powerlifting, which I kind of did I did like just showing up and knowing I'm going to bench like every other day and squatting. And I really got in love with the movements. And that's why I like powerlifting, is because like I'm a big numbers guy. So that's something I feel like I can chase. So it's like coming into this year, I wanted to, I think deadlift I think last year I wanted to deadlift like 600, which I didn't get. So
what did you get?
565.
I did 585 at Zoo Culture on a stiff bar, but I didn't
It didn't lock
it out though. But I did 575 in a comp, which I locked out, but I got called for like dragging the bar down, so you can't have any downward motion when you lift it up.
But no straps
But that was hook, and I learned hook in a month or two. So
which is crazy. Hook hurts bad.
Like I went from pulling mixed and straps to learning hook, and then hitting a PR on hook in like 2 months. So I would take it as a win.
Was I at your meet? Where was your meet?
No, it was at Power Build. Like
I was there.
No, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah. No, it was like the St. Patty's Day one, but yeah. So as far as the training, it's like way different. Like you're hitting like no accessories. Like it'll be like you deadlift and then you'll hit like an incline press movement. And it's kind of all over the place, and I didn't really like that because I'm like push pull legs. Pretty much has been my entire training split.
Bro split.
Yeah, and then sometimes I'll put my own twist on that, but pretty much it was like you go in, you hit your main lifts, and then you might do an accessory, but it's very light. It's like RP7, like you're just doing like curls and stuff. And then like now it's like I'm going in and I'm not even touching a barbell. Because
but powerlifting is kind of fun because it's like you're right, you hit your main lift, squat, bench, deadlift, military press, whatever you're doing for the day. And then it's kind of like you're checking off a to-do list. You look at your thing and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like do like this plate pinch for 5 minutes. It's like weird. It's like, okay, done. Now it's like farmer's carries. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like you're really just going to get like a pump like bodybuilding. You're just working good.
Pretty much all.
Well, you can set up a bodybuilding workout like that and feel like you're accomplishing things. Like check this.
No, I'm not saying there's one's better than the other. It's just I remember when I was doing my powerlifting training.
Yeah.
Like Brian would have my workouts be like 3 hours long. Just because it's like literally a list of check. It's not like you're going like doing supersets and stuff. Yeah. It's like check. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Weird movements.
That's another thing was like with powerlifting, it's like you go in there. So you warm up. For me, I was warming up like 15, 20 minutes. Then you have to warm up to like whatever your top weight is. So if you're hitting a heavy single and then you have back downs and everything like that, your whole movement plus your warm up is at least an hour.
Yeah, so like if I'm going to deadlift, it's going to take an hour before I'm done.
Yeah,
I feel like that for every first compound movement.
Yeah,
and
like it takes so long. Even if you do it in bodybuilding or like I program for like lifestyle clients. Like they start with a squat or they start with the deadlift. Yeah, and they'll text me. It's like 30 minutes have gone by and they're like, "What? I'm still doing my squat." Yeah. Like it takes long.
If you walk on the treadmill, that's 5 minutes. You roll out, then you use some bands, and then you warm up. I mean, you're resting like 2 to 3 minutes or more between each set going up to that weight. So
especially
if you do 4 or 5 of those for like a couple minutes, that adds up, and then you're already in an hour. And then you finish your sets, and then you have to do. Like, let's say it's an SBD day, bro, you're there for literally 3 business days at the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
so SBD week.
Do you think that, because you said that the powerlifting split is a lot different, and like from what I saw Joey doing, a lot more rest, like within the workout and within the days of the week, more rest days. But you said you enjoyed like doing a classic bro split kind of thing. Yeah. So do you think the fact that you like the bro split and like if you weren't training for something specifically, you might fall naturally into that kind of routine, kind of encouraged you to want to do a bodybuilding show because you're like, I can do the bro split and I can like use it for a specific purpose?
Yeah, so I think that like push-pull, I mean, when people like do training, the best thing that you can maximize is doing something that you enjoy. Like if you're training and you don't enjoy it, it's not going to last. It's like anything. For sure. Like no matter what diet someone picks, if they don't like it, it really depends on the person. The diet's not what really matters. Yeah. It's how disciplined you are towards, do I want this bad enough to do it?
Yeah, Same thing the best training, diet is the one you can stick to.
Exactly.
Same thing with
that's
workouts.
The thing. It's like what you can keep doing and repeating over and over to get the best results. It's not like, oh, like I'm going to try this. It's like you got to be able to do that.
And we've talked about it before. It's not a bad thing if it's not something that you want bad enough.
Yeah.
Like that's not a bad thing.
We say this all the time. Enough. Like if you start doing something and you're like, I don't, like, you're not putting the effort that it needs to get to where you initially thought you wanted to be, maybe that's just not a place you want to be bad enough to do that thing.
Don't waste
do you know what I mean?
Don't waste 12 weeks on prep when you're just going to half-ass it and you're not going to want it bad enough to do it right.
If you start a prep and you're like, this might not be the rest of my life, but I committed to it now, so I'm going to do it now.
And that's something that I'm like, I made the decision.
You're so excited to get on stage.
Yeah, I want to do this because I'm like someone who likes to test the waters and push my body towards different things. Like, I don't think I ever thought I would powerlift or like powerlifting, and I did a meet and I enjoyed the entire process. And it was like, meet day was so fun.
It's exhilarating.
Then,
but so, that first squat when you're stepping on the bar, you get dizzy.
So nervous.
You're like, oh.
And actually, they messed up my squat. So my opener was supposed to be 396 or something, and they put it at 407. And then all my lifts after that were kind of like, and then it went like 430, and then I hit like a 30-pound PR, like 463.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was, Mike, the guy who was handling me, he was like, yeah, dude, you're going to have to grind this squat. Like, bro, you're really going to have to grind this. And I was like, ah. And when you get there and you zone out, you don't even look at the weight. I didn't look at the weight once, so I had no idea what was on the bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to be a grind.
My last time competing, I screwed my squat all the way. My opener was 507, and it was smooth. Yeah. And then it was like 523, and it was like a technical mistake. Like, I got it, but something happened, like downward motion or something. Yeah. So I was like, okay, just shake it off, just because I thought it was just nerves. Yeah. So then I went up to like 545 or something. Yeah. Just couldn't.
What is downward motion?
If like you're deadlifting or squatting and like you kind of like your knee goes down a little bit, or like. Yeah. Like, if you're, picture you're deadlifting and the bar's going up, 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 but then it, like, hits your leg and it kind of, like, drops.
Oh, I see. You have to continue going up. You can't, like, waver down. Even if you go back up, you can't dip.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
So.
That's why, like, pausing would be good, also, in training. Because you, like, pause and you hold it, and then instead of going down, you have to go straight up.
But on deadlifts, I've seen some really good deadlifters pulling weight that they can definitely do, but it gets, like, they don't have enough baby powder on their leg, and it gets caught on their shin. And it kind of, like, the pain kind of... Sometimes you grind your shin just right, and the pain makes you stutter a little bit, and it makes the bar drop a little bit, and then you get it easy. But...
And some people, like, their legs bleed when they deadlift.
Well, yeah, that's why you need them socks on. Yeah, my legs... Everybody's legs bleed when they deadlift.
I just thought, a show would be cool. See what it's like. I don't know if I might, pursue bodybuilding a little more. Like, I got into the, like, fitness and everything like that because I was insecure. So I wanted to see the improvements in myself. And then once I started seeing them, it was like, wow, like, I'm actually getting this positive feedback from all the hard work I'm putting in. And I think that's one of the biggest things about fitness that people undermine is, like, you have so many mental benefits from it. It's like, when you go into the gym, like, people always be like, oh, I'm fighting demons and I'm doing all this. And it's like, bro, like, regardless of whatever anyone else says about, like, going to the gym, it actually just helps you so much. Like, if you have a busy day, like, you're someone who has a business or whatever you're doing, and you're like, okay, I got to do this, or maybe I got to edit content, or maybe I have to travel, and whatever you're doing in a day, if you know you're going to the gym, that sets your day up so much more. Because it's like, variable. Yeah, it's like, you're doing this. I look forward to it. And then that basically, like, gives you dopamine. It's like, you look forward to that so much. So no matter what you have to do in the day, whether it sucks, whether it's so enjoyable, it's like, that's a staple in your day that you can always look forward to. And then that's why I think people like rest days are so bad. It's because you just want to go to the gym. And I'm the same way. I'm like, I hate rest days, but you just really got to, like, stay busy and do different things like that. And then just know you're going to the gym the next day. So.
And rest days are very important.
Oh yeah. That's the thing I hate hearing is, like, because when I would train 5 days a week, rest days, honestly, that's when you see, like, the most growth and the most gains. It's because you're actually recovering, which is so undermined when training, because people just want to, train till failure and do a bunch of volume and then, like, think that training 7 days a week and pushing all of this is so good.
Unless you're on steroids.
Yeah. Unless everything on this podcast can basically be summed up to unless you're on steroids.
Right.
So let's talk about that's actually a funny slogan. We should put that on hats.
We should.
Unless you're on steroids. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about so you said, like, one of the reasons you got into fitness and bodybuilding was to build your confidence, which I think is really important. Like, confidence, in my opinion, comes from committing to something and proving to yourself that you can do that. So whether that's internal, physical, it's all going to up your confidence because you've accomplished something and you've worked for that and you've proven to yourself, like, I can do that. So that makes you confident, obviously. But talk a little bit about how you got into fitness. Maybe like, when was there like a specific moment in your life? How old were you? Did you have someone you looked up to? Like, what was the first time going to the gym for you?
Okay, so some background is like, I was a basketball player. So I used to live in Georgia, right? And so I lived in like a apartment with my mom and my brother. And we were a little unfortunate with the situation we were dealing with. And I got into basketball because it was kind of like an outlet, and I was watching like these NBA players playing, and I was like, yo, this is like sick. I want to learn this. So we had this slab of concrete, and I would just play basketball, and then I learned a bunch of skills. And then eventually I moved from Georgia to Pennsylvania, and I started living with my aunt and uncle. And when we were there, they gave me like a basketball hoop, and then I had never played sports, organized sports ever. And so I was like 12 or 13. So like doing that was awesome because I always wanted to. I just never had the opportunity. And so I fell in love with basketball. And then I even signed up for football just to see what it was like. And 2 weeks later, I broke my arm. No idea what I was doing. This kid just cracked my arm, and that was the rest of that. But I got into basketball, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, yo, this game's so much fun. I'd spend so many hours during the day. And then I just kept playing that middle school. And then as I got into high school, I kind of transitioned out of basketball, even though I still love it, and I love it to this day. But it was like, I got into the gym because I was very small, and I was like, all right, I got to put on size. And then as I was just like in the gym, like doing certain things, I was like, yo, this feels amazing. Like, I love this. And I was also, when I was in high school, I was like kind of insecure and shy because I had been traveling a lot. Like, it was probably my 8th school I'd been to. Okay. So I was like a new kid multiple times, and that can suck because you're like, okay, I got to meet new kids again. And then all of this, and it's kind of a lot. So mentally, I just wasn't there. And in high school, I kind of felt like I didn't click with a bunch of people because I was someone who didn't want to go out and party, didn't want to drink, didn't want to do a bunch of things that a lot of kids like do normally. And so I feel like I didn't really click with people. And then the gym, I was like, after I finished my sophomore year in basketball, I like had already been lifting a little bit, but COVID hit. And like, COVID is literally what like would make or break people. You either like got lost and you just played video games and just wasted a bunch of time or did anything. But me, I saw the perfect window to like change my life when COVID hit, because I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to be living in my house for a couple months and I can't really go to the gym, can't really do anything. So started doing research. I figured out what a calorie was, had no idea what that was. And that, bro, figuring out, this is like so undermined. Learning what calories are, you can never go back. Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but if you just eat something and you have no idea what it's doing to you, versus like you actually scientifically know.
That's a good point. I don't remember
I don't remember a time not knowing
what.
No, but just think about it. Like, you know how we track food and stuff?
Yeah, I don't remember not knowing a time what a food would do to me when I eat it.
Yeah, but
it's weird to think about that. You're right.
It's so trippy when you think about it, because like you get a scale,
just
you weigh your food,
bodybuilder things.
You get a scale, you weigh your food, and you're like, okay, this is 100 calories. I'm gonna eat this. It's got carbs, fats, proteins, whatever. I'm utilizing this so I can go train. But like,
there's adults still that have no idea what.
Yeah, people will just eat things and they don't even know what they're eating, and it's like that's not necessarily like a bad thing. And I mean, it kind of is, but. It's like
I think it's good to understand what you're fueling yourself with.
Yeah, but like I had no idea what a calorie was. Yeah. And that's why like obesity is a huge problem, because people don't know the basic information of like, hey, there's calories in this, and calorie is literally energy by definition. Sometimes, this is what you're eating.
Sometimes I feel silly like saying on here or posting on my story like, by the way, fruit equals carbs. By the way, vegetables equals carbs. By the way, this is how many calories are in 1 gram of carbs. Yeah. Things like that. But I remember like most of the population doesn't know that.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean? I think like with the audience that we surround ourselves with, it seems like it's a very very obvious thing.
Yeah.
But when you like start getting into coaching and you talk to people outside of like the fitness industry, you realize like I might have to tell this person that a banana is made of mostly carbohydrates.
Exactly.
Like for
Did you follow Goob on Instagram?
No.
He like exposes.
Oh my
his
God,
fitness
I love.
influencers
I love Goob.
and coaches, but he just exposed this one. Like she's an IFBB pro, but
This
she's
was the
also
funniest
coaching now. I don't
ever.
even remember her name. I'm not gonna say it, but
Yeah.
she posted
We
on
don't
her
expose
story.
people over here. No, I'm just kidding.
She posted on her story something about like a pizza from like Weiss or like the store or something, and she took a picture of it and she was like, oh my God, 142 grams of fat, and she was looking at like, it says the serving size is 142 grams. And Goob was
there's like grams in weight, and then there's the grams of calories.
Yeah.
So Goob calls her out and he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, why are you a coach?
Yeah.
Because if you're a fitness coach, like, how are you going to mess up that bad, right? And then she came back to defend herself and said, my bad, there's 120 grams of fat in this.
And she was probably still wrong.
And she was still wrong.
Yeah,
and like, it just shows that she literally is looking at it. It's very easy when you know what you're doing to find fat on.
Yeah.
It's very easy when you don't know what you're doing.
Because it says fat.
That confused me because I understand like doing the calculations, things like that can be hard. Mm-hmm. But if I gave a random pedestrian a bag of pizza bagels and I was like, tell me how much fat is in one serving, it's pretty easy to understand. Yeah. It's sort of like the airport. So it's made for everybody to understand.
She's really a coach. She's an IFBB pro, but a lot of these pros just do what somebody tells them to do and they become good because they're good at other aspects of it. They're just like follow
the plan. They just follow the plan.
Yeah.
Which is fine, by the way, but maybe you shouldn't be a coach.
Wait a second. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. But like, no, that is a huge thing. It's like, I didn't know so much about like food and like calories and like, oh my gosh, there's 9 calories in a gram of fat. When I figured out there was like that with carbs and protein and like all of this like having calories in it, I was like, yo, this is groundbreaking. Because now I'm like, no, actually, because like you said, like a lot of people don't know that outside the fitness industry. Like in the fitness industry, that's basic knowledge. People are like, yeah, like obviously I know macros and like if it fits your macros and all that, but like literally so many people definitely don't know about this because I'll talk to people and they're like, will ask me how to lose weight, and it's like, you have to go in. It's not something where you just be like, for them, it's not something where it's like a one sentence and it's like, yeah, lower your calories and do this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you have to kind of explain to them more scientifically for them to understand, like, because they don't know the words. Like, they might not understand what a calorie is and how that's energy and how if you eat a burger with fries and all of this, you probably shouldn't be eating that as frequently as you are with all these calories and all of this if your goal is to lose weight. If you're just eating stuff like this, it's probably hindering what you're actually trying to do.
We should make a video where we go downtown and we ask people how many calories is in this meal. How many calories is in this meal? And just see what they say. Because
we should just ask people, what's a calorie?
Like,
yeah, that's true.
Because, I mean, bro, some people really, like, I had no idea. It's actually wild because I was so oblivious to, like, certain things that I was... I pride myself on like, oh, I'm eating a salad, like I'm eating this. But my salad consisted of like an absurd amount of dressing and all of this. So it was literally
oil.
Yes, the calories I was eating were through the roof. But I was like, oh, it's a salad, it's this, it's gotta be healthy. And that's the biggest misconception is that people think because it's like, or you'll see these certain like bars now that are like protein or like
50 grams of fat though.
Or like,
oh my God, the protein bar thing is crazy. I mean, like, I like protein bars, but so many protein bars are like protein. And you look at the ingredients and it's like 10 grams of protein, like 30 grams of fat. Yeah. Like so many bars. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's like, how do you market something that's 250 calories, 8 grams of protein and call it a protein bar? It's like, bro, that's like, I could literally pick up grass and it would be more.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Dense, honestly, like a candy bar might have more protein than that. I'm not really sure.
They're literally marketing candy bars.
Yeah. But. Okay. So to kind of wrap things up a little bit, we definitely need to have you back on the podcast. We could do like many episodes with you. But to wrap it up, I like to ask everybody within fitness, nutrition, health, bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever it may be for you, what are like 2 to 3 things that you believe to be true and that you think will remain true. So like, to explain this a little bit more, I feel like there's so many things that happen through fitness. Like, there's diets, there's like keto, there's, I don't want to always call keto out, but there's just random trends that happen in fitness, in bodybuilding and powerlifting and everything, that you might believe at one moment in time and then later they're debunked, things like that. Right. What are a few beliefs that you have that you think will always be true? And this can be like factual things, it can be mental things, whatever you want.
So as far as like, I guess I'll go some diet-based stuff. Just try to avoid processed stuff. I mean, as we're getting towards a world where everything's ultra-processed, everything that's advertised is marketed towards kids, which is high-processed cereals and foods like that are just, we're feeding kids junk, and then that's
we were just talking about that in the car. I was saying, I think that having an obese child, like 10 and under, is a form of child abuse.
Yeah.
Because you control practically everything that they eat. Or you should. So
some people aren't going to want to hear that. I mean, it really depends. So there's like a systemic thing where like, if you're in a impoverished area, you don't really have the resources to get more high quality foods because they're going to be more expensive and things are more funded. Like it's higher, or it's harder to get like vegetables and different things because the produce and stuff is going to cost more versus like ramen noodles, which is like bad for you, but it costs very little money. So it's like, if you're a mother trying to feed your kid, you are just going to try to get them fed anyways. And you probably don't know what a calorie is. You probably don't know different things like that, but you just care about providing for your child. And that's kind of how my mom was with me. She would give me food, probably not the best thing for me, but like at least she was feeding me. And so that's the biggest thing is like, if we want to get to a world where we can actually give kids the best possible like health and opportunities to succeed, diet is such an undermined thing because we just feed kids so much crap. And it's these big companies like Kellogg's will literally market all of the different brands like, hey, here's all these cereals and here's all of this. And it's just a bunch of junk that we're feeding our kids that are slowly killing them. And it's just causing this whole circle of like...
There's also a negative stigma against like talking about calories with your children because it's like fat shaming or but I think there's a balance.
No, there's a way to talk about calories that's not like you shouldn't make your kids fear food. Like all food should be acceptable, but there's a way to talk about like a time and a place for certain food like anything else in life.
Yeah.
I mean when we were growing up though, we definitely had a very like tight.
I mean, yeah, it was like when we're in the house, we're not eating junk food, and that's saved for when we're at parties or when we had sleepovers. We got to pick out snacks from the store.
And even then, my mom would I'd be like, "Hey, can I have orange soda for my sleepover tonight?" I'm like 10. And
you're like orange juice,
orange Pellegrino or something like orange seltzer water.
But like that shows she cares about. Because like if she's just letting,
and she also has the means to make those decisions.
She knows,
yeah.
Which is the hard thing, like you're talking about, like not everybody has the means to make those decisions. Like a big root of the problem is it accessible to be eating non-processed foods, as every day there's more and more processed foods on the market.
Right.
Which I'm not against processed foods, by the way. I think occasionally it's like we're all going to die somehow and occasionally a processed food is not going to kill you. But generally you want your diet to be made of whole foods for health.
I mean, I'm doing a show. When I'm done with my show, best believe I'm not eating like a salad. Like, there's going to be some bad stuff in there.
He told me he's eating deep fried lizard after his show.
Yo, that was an exaggeration.
All right, let's wrap it up. Do you have is there any more?
Basically just, watch your health. Mental health is very undermined as well. Just,
mental health affects physical health for sure.
Exactly. Just your overall health. It doesn't just matter about training and stuff. Just, keep your mental health in check, your physical health, and like eat good. And
What do you think is more important for life? If you could only do one for the rest of your life, training, exercise, movement, or watching what you eat? Like diet, nutrition.
I'm gonna say diet, nutrition, but I also want to include sleep into diet and nutrition because I think that's a part of recovery. And recovery is pretty much like 2/3 of like what you do, I think. Because if you sleep and eat and then you train, that's 2/3 of the puzzle, right? Because like if you're training, that's just one aspect. But if you're eating, that's another one, and sleeping, that's another one. So there's two things that are actually recovering versus like just training. So that's why like you see most growth is like recovery. So
Yeah.
You can't ask that question. That's horrible.
But,
Which one would you rather?
Which one would you rather be in control of?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Well, obviously,
that's a good question. I would choose nutrition too, because movement, like while we love exercising and while we love lifting and while we need that for the specific aggressive goals that we have, just to be healthy, you could walk for the rest of your life and be fine. But food, I wouldn't want someone else controlling my food. Like I want to know what I'm putting in my body.
Right. Because you can eat like crap and exercise so much and still be like not where you want to be at. But if your diet's in check, that's how progress is made. And like you can actually, I mean, because I'm training pretty much very similar to how I am in the off season, but my diet's changed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm lean.
Yeah.
And everything. So diet is really like the key. You are what you eat. So
awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Max, for coming on the podcast today. We'll definitely have you back. Maybe we'll do some virtual ones once you get a mic for your own podcast.
I'm getting one of these.
They're really not that expensive. I think it was $100, which is
they were 100 each, they were
or
like
less,
60
or
each.
less, 100 max, which like is pricey, but I feel like for what it is, it's nice. So,
but it's nice.
Okay. On that note.
On that note, we will see you next time. Wait, how do we end it again?
I forget.
Oh, see you. 1, 2, 3.
See you next time at Mobilefitlab After Hours.
Bye.
Peace.